Good morning, Reborners. My name is Karen, and this is Making Dolls with Karen. We're back with Maddox for his final paint, which is going to be blush. He looks pretty good, I think. His torso looks good. The color is real good on his torso and on the back, too. You can see the blue just enough, and it just looks good to me. So here we go. We're gonna jump right into this blush real fast and get it done. And then he'll be ready to go baking again. And after he comes out, he'll be ready for his magnet and his hair and all that. So we're going to get 2 coats of this blush on him because 1 coat is just not enough, in my opinion. Since I started doing 2 coats, I like it much better that way. I'm trying to find a cleaner sponge to use on this doll. None of these are very clean. I better get out a new one. I always like to pounce them around, especially the darker the paint, the more pouncing you really need to do because, well, it's just really dark. Get me a paintbrush here, and away we go. His lips and nails look fantastic. I won't need to redo them, but after I get finished painting, if I don't forget, I'm going to tip his nails. And believe it or not, between now and then, I'm really liable to forget. I'm not really all that accustomed to doing tips. I haven't been doing it that long, only ever since I got Presley, and I saw how awesome he looked. I decided to do more details on my dolls. I've got my questions and everything all ready for the contest, the rules, everything. So I'm going to be making a video immediately following Maddox's video to tell you about all that stuff, what you need to do if you want to participate. And now the questions are not going to be easy. I have talked about every one of them. You won't probably get every question right, but it's not about, you don't have to get every question right. It's about the person who gets the most right. And in the cases of a tie, I have some follow-up questions for just those people. And then if we can't break the tie that way, I'll just draw from the names of those people. I don't imagine that very many people are going to get very many questions right because they are kind of hard. You'd have to go back and watch some videos to collect up. Unless you've been watching my videos all along and you just remember the answers. I often talk about different procedures on dolls, and some of them I mention every single video. So, you know, I might say, yes, we have to pounce it because there's an excess. You don't want any pooling on your doll. I might say that every video, but, you know, other things that I asked in the questions that might be about me. I talk about myself a lot, too, and my family and stuff. You have to have watched the video to really know any of those answers. And I do talk about my family quite often, so it's not like I never said these things, because I did. And I said most everything I said in multiple different videos as I was talking about my family, my spouse, my siblings, my children, my grandchildren. I talked about where I live. I talked about all kinds of things and experiences I had, you know, during my life, and little sayings my mother used to say to me, you know, things like that. And I just talk. And so if you've been watching my videos, you've heard me say all those things. And so you might get a question about some of those things. And only people who watch my videos will be able to answer them. The whole purpose of the contest is not to test your knowledge about dolls. It is to, for me, It's to bump up my views on my videos, hopefully get a few new subscribers, possibly, you know, like some of my videos have 12 watches. I'd like them to have 50 or 100, you know. But anyway, I have over 300 subscribers. I don't imagine everybody's going to participate. Some people are going to go, I'm not willing to do all that on the chance I'll win a doll, so they won't do it. But I still need to choose the doll I'm going to, so I want to show you the doll at the time we start the contest so that everybody will know which doll they can win. I might give them a choice, this one or this one, you know. She's got a little bit of buildup in one of her creases here, and I can't seem to scratch it off. I don't know. This darker paint just highlighted it. I don't know. I start with the lightest paint, which is the 05, and then I move to the warm blush, which is the next darkest, and then this would be the darkest. Because you don't want to take your doll down from pale blank vinyl to the darkest paint right in one go. I mean, I don't, because it always comes out very funny looking to me. And the colors gradually get a little bit darker in each step, so that way it doesn't look all that strange. The purpose of putting your paint on in layers like this, instead of just coming up with one color that would be the final color of your doll, is that it looks more real. It creates depth in your doll's skin tone, instead of it just being a flat factory spray paint or something that would go on your doll, you know. Because I imagine it would be possible to create this color that the skin is. Now that all the layers are on it, it's a certain color, you know. And it would be possible to recreate that color, I'm sure, in a one-coat paint. I mean, you might have to put 2 or 3 coats on to get it that dark, but you wouldn't get near the realism you get from putting different colors on. It creates that depth of skin tone, you know. So they don't look like a plastic doll. They look like more like skin. When next, after this video ends, when you next see Maddox, he'll be finished, put together, dressed, and he will be in a short being revealed with some of the other dolls that I've recently done. Some of my dolls can't get put together because I don't have any bodies left. I mean, I have some 3/4 bodies because I don't make that many 3/4 dolls, so I can put them together. But the full limb babies, I don't have any more bodies left. So, we're going to have to wait, which I don't really like doing, but oh well, that's what we have to do. I have a couple of dolls. I don't even know what I'm going to do for their bodies. I don't even see on Bountiful Baby anymore that they have 3/4 arms and full legs for dolls like Emma. The one I just showed you on another video. I showed you her COA. And she's not that little tiny 10-inch Emma. She's a real born. But she has 3/4 arms. She's one of the older ones. I think they discontinued almost every one that had 3/4 limbs at the top. It used to be no big deal. People didn't care, but now they do. And so they're not popular anymore. But I wanted an Emma, and I finally found one. And I forgot that she had 3/4 limbs until she came. And I go, oh, yeah, she does, doesn't she? and now I don't have a body for her. I think Bountiful Baby also discontinued all their different variety of bodies. I might have to go to Dolls by Sandy or somewhere like that to get it. Dolls by Sandy has almost every configuration you can think of in bodies. It's very diverse. But their bodies aren't quite as good. I like the Bountiful Baby bodies better. I'm ordering a special body for Maddox, a 20-inch body. Like I said before, the last time I made him, I put him on a 19-inch body. I don't know, I didn't read his listing actually, and I thought, I'm sure he takes a 19-inch body. And so I put him on a 19-inch body, and it was ever so difficult to get him in that torso correctly. So this time I thought, well, okay, I'm going to use the 20-inch body. Maybe it'll work a little better. I had to stretch and pull and pull and stretch, and I needed an extra 2 pairs of hands to help me, but I didn't have that. It took me, I bet, an hour to get him into his body because it was so, so difficult. The first Maddox I did that way, I was using a body that didn't have those little enclosures where the arms go and the legs, and I put his head on and 2 arms and left 1 leg open so that I could put the stuffing in through the leg, and I thought the leg would be a little easier to put on, and it was. But then the bodies I had after that were all those newer bodies that Bountiful Baby makes now that have those little pockets there where they're covered, and you can't do that. You can only stuff it through the head opening, and the head may be actually the hardest thing to put on the doll with a torso. But I don't know. It was just very, very difficult. And I was very exhausted when I finally got it. That's one time I did use my hemostats, kind of like hemostats. I clipped them down on on the edge of the neck opening real hard and stretched it up so I could get the head on. And I don't know. I finally got it on there is all I know. No color on the sponge. Sometimes you have to be really careful when you're mixing your paint up. I know this red is that way. If you just plunge your brush all the way down to the paint and mix it that way, you get a high concentration of paint in your sponge, and it becomes just too dark. It's very, very grainy looking, and you have to mix it a little superficially at the top first, just get it swirling a bit, and some of that paint comes up, and then you can put your paintbrush all the way down. Okay, that's head and limbs. I gotta do his torso now. Oh, it's the funnest part. Not. My rags are getting extremely dirty, and most likely the paint will not come out too. I mean, some of it will lighten up, and a little bit of it might come out, but by and large, it's going to stay stained up, which is okay. I don't care. They're just once it's dried and washed and all that stuff, it's not going to come off on your doll or anything. I have plenty of rags that I used before I was using paper towels to wipe my hands and stuff on. I had bought a bunch of just whitewash rags. You know, they're cheaper than the colored ones usually. And I just used them to wipe my hands with. And when they were too dirty, I'd throw them in this little bin I have down here on the floor next to me, which is empty now because I don't use those anymore. But I would just use those to save money, and then I'd wash them. And over time, they get very stained. But yet, none of it comes off on your doll after it's dried and washed and all that. It's just stains. Trying to pat this because if I wait till I do the whole entire belly plate, it might already be starting to dry on its own. It might start to look, you know, a little rashy. I don't want that. I put a lot of effort into this belly plate, which I didn't even want to make. I'm still debating if I even want to put it on him. I might want to just give it to the person who buys him. It's so blicky. They won't even hardly sit upright on your shelf with these stupid belly plates on. I hate these things. Torso, I mean. It's not a belly plate. I hate belly plates too, but these are really blicky. Try to hold him by a leg hole or something. I don't know. To paint this upper half. Upper part, it's not half actually. For all my efforts of painting these rims, you can't even tell they're painted. They're too glossy, I guess. They didn't take paint very well. And I did seal them as well at the beginning. So they should have took paint a little better than that, but they didn't. Okie dokie. It's so much trouble to paint a torso. I don't even want to do it a second time, but I'm going to need to. I'll be sorry if I don't. I just know I will. Because, well, it's not going to look right. There we have it. Now can I get my fingers out of his leg hole? There we go. Okay, while he's drying just a little bit more, I'm going to grab a water. Just thirsty. Decided to grab a Coke instead. I drink lots of water, believe it or not. At night when I wake up, my mouth is like sandpaper. So sometimes I just want something else. And sometimes it's Coke or tea or something. Okay, let's test his dryness now. Not quite. He's still got a little bit of moisture looking around his nose and stuff. Dab him just a little bit more here. Let's see these limbs. They look pretty good. Okay, we're going to start back on his head now. Yeah, it's kind of grainy looking. I kind of plunged it to the bottom. Like I just said, don't do. It's going to be darker this time. At least on his head, because I've already started it and it's looking a little grainy. I might have to do a lot of pouncing on that. I have polyfill in his head. It's easy to put my fingers in that, which is a no-no, but his head was so weird shaped I couldn't shape it out with rags. It was just too weird looking, and I was afraid it would split or something. You know, sometimes baking can warp um, your vinyl, and it'll cause it to collapse or split open or something. And it happens mostly. I'm not going to say it never happens to a reborn kit, real born kit, because it does. But it happens mostly to the artist kits. They're thinner vinyl. I don't know. I did have it happen to Maya. I think she was the only real born that it happened to. The rest of them were, it's only been a few times out of the hundreds and hundreds of dolls I've made. I've almost made 100 this year. I'm up in the 70s. I'm planning on getting there before Christmas rush. I have to pick up my pace though. Sometimes I do 2 or 3 dolls at once. I'll paint one, put it into bake, start number 2. While it's drying, I'll start number 3. And then number 1's coming out to cool, and number 2's going in, and number 3's drying. I could probably start a 4th one, but it gets very confusing when you start doing that many dolls at one time. I have enough room on my drying rack, which I never use. You notice I never use it. For 4 dolls. I have 2 here and 2 over there on that table. And my drying rack was very long, but it wouldn't fit across the back of this table. So I cut it in half. And now it fits 2 here and 2 over there. When I say 2, I mean room for 2 dolls. Over here, room for 2 dolls over there. You can see part of it sticking up right here. I have these tall poles, and they're a lot fatter. And they're for heads, and then these smaller poles are for the limbs. There's 4 right centered with this one, and 4 over there with that one, and then there's the same thing over here. And that's how I do it. But I hardly ever use them. I use it mostly for sealing. You can't lay them down on the table. Everything in the world will stick to them and you'll never get it off. But the paint, if it's dry enough like this, you can lay it down. If you're gentle, you don't rub it against the table or anything. Now when I start air drying, I'm going to be putting it on the rack because I'm pretty sure you can't lay that down on the table. I mean, you could, but it might be detrimental to your paint job. I just thought of something. It's to do with the, it just came to me while I'm sitting here painting. It's to do with the contest. I might make a special doll for the contest. I might just pick a kit and say, you'll win this doll. When I make it, I'm going to make it next. It's going to be such and such doll, like that. Maybe you'll win my air dry doll. I do want to make an air dry doll. And my tipster has promised me that I'm going to love waterborne paint. And that's the kind I'm going to be ordering. So That's what I'm going to do the trial on. I'm going to film it so you'll see me painting the doll. That's a good idea. I think I'll do that. I think I'll just pick a kit and then I'll use that for the contest. It'll be pretty. I know it will. The doll I made before with the other paint was gorgeous. Gorgeous doll. I just couldn't get the shine out. That was the only problem. And so I was very disturbed. This time it's going to be different. Oh, excuse me. I'm seeing Maddox as a blonde. I wonder if anybody else sees him as a blonde. I may change my mind, but I think I'm going to make him a blonde. I never know until I get in there and start putting hair up next to their face and seeing which one I think looks the best or something. Until that point, I don't really know which one I'm going to use. I have a lot of curly blonde hair I need to use, but I don't see him as a curly-headed baby. But I have been making more curly-headed dolls trying to use that hair up. I have some loosely curly hair, the normal, what you'd call normal curly hair. And then I have some that has extremely tight curls, very, very tight. And it's very difficult to root with. I'm going to go away from curly hair, I think. I have some black curly hair I ordered for Ruby, and it's very tight too. I didn't know it was going to be that tight. When you order the hair, you don't know if you're getting that. They don't actually say loose curly or tight curly. They just say curly. And so you get all this hair and you don't know exactly how it's going to, be until you get it. And from one order to the next, you might be getting the looser curly hair, or you might be getting the very tight curly hair. I don't remember getting tight curly hair before in any of the colors, except they have this one color they're discontinuing. It was honey blonde or golden blonde. I can't remember. But anyway, it's curly hair and it's on clearance. They're discontinuing it, and I bought it. And that's the first time I ever saw that really, really tight curly hair. The rest of the time it was looser and easier to work with. But this time when I ordered the black hair, it's the second time I ordered black hair, I got that real tight curly hair. There's only one listing for it. I don't know. No color on the sponge. Oh, still got to do that torso a second time. Not looking forward to that. Okay, here we go with the torso again. Ugh, I hate painting torsos. I know I keep saying that, but I just keep feeling it. Not at all fun. They're very big. They have a lot of spaces that you have to make sure you can cover. It's just not fun. Got to get a little more paint on my brush, because my sponge, because it's not showing up very well. It's getting very, very wet. It's too wet. It's leaving marks. This one may be too wet too, I don't know. But I will pounce it around again with a drier sponge. I have a couple drier ones here. They're not anything close to what you call fully dry, but they're drier, let's put it that way. And since I'm finished with the red, I'm probably going to throw away all these red sponges and just go to a new sponge for the next doll. These are just too wet and too it looks pretty good to me. We're gonna go with that. It looks good to me. Okay, he's painted, which means he's gonna be going in for a bake in just a very few little minutes. And that's gonna be the end of his video. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And happy reborning.